When I was a young boy, my father took me into the city to see a marching band. He said, son, when you grow up, would you be the savior of the broken, the beaten, and the damned? And every millennial mind just went, started doing the guitar riff right after that. Take two. Hi, welcome back. There are many hats on my head, like the boobs in Little Nicky's, whatever, his friend that has the boob heads. Take two, because initially I started off kind of getting into some hot water areas that YouTube would get mad at me for. But, there we go. We're fixing and solving problems. Hi, hello, and welcome back to The Far Side. It is I, your host, your high priest for this day. It is Austin. Yes, it is. And I have my many hats and my many glasses on because there is fear in the internet. I'm just kidding. There's always fear on the internet. There's always rage bait on the internet. It is what it is. And I don't know if y'all have noticed this, but it kind of seems like we're moving to the end of the content creation popularity thing. It'll be interesting to see what is the new thing that happens next. Will it be some offshoot of streaming? Will it be the ability to stream directly into people's heads through their Neuralink chip or whatever else biotech-ware is coming in soon? Or is it going to be a movement away from content and a movement towards doing like your own cinema? Doing your own in-house movie, going to an AI and making your own. I don't want to call it art if you're technically using AI to produce a lot of it, but making your own stories and telling your own stories. Is that going to be the thing that really separates us from the noise? Whereas now it's how many TikTok followers you get, how many dances can you do, and make a living off of it, or how many fun little skits can you do, or how many times can you steal something from someone else, because content creation is an endless vacuum. It was always going to become an endless void in which there is more and more people pouring stuff into. I mean, for one, the traditional means of an entertainment career have been fundamentally disrupted. I probably would not be doing a podcast if I could get into a writer's room. But I can't get into a writer's room, partly for reasons of why I'm doing a podcast, and that's because I can be a cantankerous, salty son of a bitch if I really need to and believe in my position. Yeah. They got rid of the self-righteous artist in Hollywood because the producers could not control it very well. I made friends with a lot of them producers. I made friends. They loved me on an individual level. But on a professional level, I left something to be desired because I wouldn't roll over like a dog and let them do whatever they want to me. Funny that. That'll keep you out of Hollywood. Can't imagine my other positive qualities kept me in the running for that bullshit. Anyways. Sorry. My cantankerousness rose as I remembered the yesteryears of trying to break into said screenwriting world, and my goodness, what a failure that was. What a spectacular failure. Did I tell you could get off your page? It's impossible to find good help these days. Oh well. Just so you're not looking at that, we'll let you look at this. Excuse me? Impossible to find good help. Impossible. Thank you, Hedwig. Oh, that's actually some pretty great photorealistic painting. I love the layering of the white art. And, it's a fun little aside. We're living in and this is why I'm like, content creation was always a fad. It was never going to be a massive, and I mean, it was always going to have its moment, its limelight, and it will always be there, I think. But we live in an age of unprecedented numbers of actual geniuses. People who are genius at painting. I mean, fuck, that's incredible. Go show that to someone living in the 1300s and they would be like, are you kidding me? Have you seen paintings from the medieval ages? They were mostly terrible. I got to imagine there were some people who were sketch artists or who could draw with a pencil, incredible things. And then some people who were like, this is literally all I need to do to get my patron off my back. Shut the fuck up. I am the third son of a less than loved noble, so I just need to do the bare amount of work to maintain my patronage. And meanwhile, I'm going to get drunk and go try and touch the nuns. I'm out. That was art for a long time. Now, I mean, the amount of people who can get incredible educations just from the internet on their chosen art, or from networking with people, or from working in the fields, let alone needing to go to a college to learn, that's kind of outdated with a lot of arts. I went to film school once upon a time. If you happen to be thinking of film school, or if someone of your friends, I want to go to film school, don't. Don't. Did I learn a lot in film school? Sure. Was it a moment in time? Yes. The most important thing about film school, or any sort of school that you're in, is networking. It is not the friends you're making. It is not whatever. Making friends is great. Go make friends, please. Especially if you're better at socializing than I am. Shocking. Solo guy on a solo podcast with solo help. Ho ho! He must be excellent at parties. I'm actually great at parties, but not for long, and preferably small doses. Especially if I can't Irish goodbye. I will cause problems in the exit foyer. Not in a bad way, just I'm terrible at saying goodbye. This last thing. There's another thing. Anyone who's been on a phone call with me, hey, Austin, I got to let you go. One more thing, my friend. Please, I have been so lonely and not talking to anybody. Thank God I have the mind of a goldfish and I forget how lonely I am. That said, it's not that bad. You also just forget, like, the heightened way in which I'm feeling things right now is just that's what happens when you get the hit in the heads. People get, they're not, just emotions. They get high. They get set to 11. You feel things differently, and you kind of have to develop a devil may care, but I don't attitude to your own emotions, which can be self-gaslighting or just neuro-linguistic programming. I like neuro-linguistic programming. Frankly, neuro-linguistic programming is something we get dosed with constantly. And frankly, that's more from a corporate perspective, marketing. And that's why the tech oligarch people feel so focused in what they're doing, because they're taking a corporate marketing propaganda playbook to making people love Flock or whatever. Which, how about this? A quick aside on the Flock cameras, because everyone loves to be like, oh my God, the Flock cameras. Look at what's happening with the Flock cameras. Everyone's taking down and cutting down the Flock cameras. All right. I, like many people, at first said, lovely. Get rid of it. Take it down. So for one, I've seen this video on someone else's page, and it's a different name. Did they credit it? Nope, they didn't credit it. So this is actually probably just ripped off this. So here's the problem. And this goes into what I was talking about in the first part, but we had to wait for the 8-minute mark to pass. I was talking about stupid conspiracy theorists. And it's not that conspiracy theorists are necessarily stupid, because we're being actively lied to all the time by people who do not trust us. That's why they are putting Flock cameras up. But this is why it's important to think cogently about things, or to listen to people who think cogently about things. You dumb motherfuckers don't realize that every one of those flock things that you fucking cut down, all you are doing is sending a signal to our government and the people that do this shit that you are ungovernable. Meanwhile, did your dumbass know that those things have infrared capabilities and can see your face behind your fucking mask? You fucking nonce. Unless you are wearing something that is lead-lined, you're fucked. Going anywhere near that and cutting it down. It is the ultimate self-snitching. You probably won't go down for the self-snitching, but you know what? Your name is getting a fucking asterisk next to it. And that asterisk will haunt you in the near future with whatever is coming to us in a form of an American digital credit score that we can't even see. All right? Now, there is Axion or Axios that the president or the president's son just invested a bunch of money in. Axiom, here we go. I'm not going to. Well, Axiom alleges insider trading. That's a shock. But there is another type of flock camera that the president recently invested money in. Yeah, I'm not finding it. Sorry, guys. Recently invested money in, and it is very much it is a more invasive, higher tech alternative to flock cameras. So the more we go around and we cut down these flock cameras, yeah, on a gut level, I'm all for that. Let's get rid of these fucking things. It's awful. They're obviously only putting it up because they do not trust us. It's not so much about crime and catching criminals as it is about watching everyone. Because here's the thing. They are not worried about criminals. They're not. That's why they have private prisons. That's where they put them. They are worried about squeezing your everyday person that may have a warrior lying at their heart, a lion, so to speak, or lioness, an absolute fucking elephant. And I don't mean like, oh, what a fatty. It's like, no. Have you ever seen an elephant? An elephant is an incredibly powerful creature. It is, like, thankful enough to have seen them in person. Fucking unit, strong creature. So, you know, when they say you have an elephant wisdom or you walk like an elephant, in certain countries, that's actually like one of the highest compliments that a stranger can give you, basically. They are worried about the people who would be heroes if we went back to World War II or World War I even. People that have just been existing in whatever system they're in, trying to make a living, trying to make a buck, trying to do whatever. They want to surveil those people because there will come a point, not today, but at some point down the road, where we feel so pushed into this subscription model serfdom that they are actively advertising to us every day, whether it be subliminally, through social media posts, through algorithmic pushes, through back-end changes to our algorithms, to our AIs. Oh, what do you know? I'm just going to push this. Subscription model serfdom. You will own nothing and you will be happy. Well, there will come a point when Americans will go, I'm not happy. I'm being told I'm not happy. I'm being told I should be happy. Now they just want to put me on all the drugs. I have no purpose in my life. And I'm not even talking like some grand purpose of slaying the ultimate dragons, but I'm talking about the purpose of like getting married, having kids, finding a fulfilling career, finding a hobby that you go, wow, I'm going to pursue this to the end. Well, you can't do that now. It's too fucking expensive. Family, kids? What area do you live in? Yeah, you can do it in rural Mississippi where there are no goddamn jobs. California? good luck, especially in whatever part of the state you're in, because some of these areas are very expensive. But also, like the area I'm currently in, Orange County in LA, it feels like whatever psychological program that they have run on our young men and women has fundamentally fucked them up in ways that I will need to study for like 20 years. Because dating, I mean, it's always been tough, Los Angeles. But so many times I'm like, have we all been broken by COVID? No one knows how to like approach each other. No one really knows how to be approached. But then, I mean, the counter to that is like most of the people I see just going out and doing the cold approach or cold open are probably creepy guys. Judging from the reactions of the women where they're like, oh, kind of giving them the shush afterwards. It's like, yeah, dude, you were being kind of weird on that. The fuck? You didn't need to do that, but you did. So I wonder if you're never getting approached by people who aren't fucking creepazoids and you're just not getting approached by normal people, how do you know how to talk to normal people? Well, you keep doing your run club. You keep doing your whatever. We've turned dating into shopping. I've been hearing that one. Well, it's always been shopping. You just farmed out a lot of that to your aunties or to your parents, because we did live in arranged marriage societies for quite a long time, really, in America up until the 1800s. And then look at all the child marriages that happened between some 30, 40-year-old person and like a 12-year-old. That was not uncommon in the 1800s in America. It was not uncommon in the early 1900s in America. I mean, my great-grandmother was, I think, like 15 when she got married to a 38-year-old. That was in Iraq. So, you know, old country shit. I'm not justifying any of it. It sounded like she might have been traumatized from that marriage. But I shudder to think that at some point, noises. And we're back with less noises. So many young people have been kind of fundamentally shifted away from starting that family, doing that purposeful thing, getting that life going. Dating, I mean, I think people are now moving offline. It's one of those, you can only talk to so many bots. You can only go on so many shitty dates where you're just like, I'm just going to try a hobby. I mean, fishing, archery, yoga, run clubs, hiking. I don't know. Something that's outdoors. I enjoy it. Like, let me see if I can find someone else that enjoys doing the things I enjoy doing. Your standards go way lower. You're like, oh, I should find a soulmate. You're like, fuck, dude, your soul's been squeezed so hard out your asshole by your corporate masters that you're lucky to find anything close to like a soulmate because you don't even recognize your own soul. Oh, but you're going to find a soulmate. Oh, my God. What do you like? What do you dislike? What gets you fired up to live? Do you even know? Like, Drewy, if you can't answer that, good luck. You're not going to find a soulmate. Oh, I've got my bucket list. Fuck your bucket list. Everyone's got one of those. That's not a soul. Don't confuse petty, meaningless achievements for soul. Those are different things. So, there will come a time when that purpose, that drive, that deep animal, like I need to procreate, I need to do whatever, I need to secure resources so that my family has whatever, it's going to be so upturned by like corporate tech oligarch elitism and the military industrial complex and all the money that motherfucker is going to be getting here soon, that you will have your everyday person thinking barbaric thoughts about how to actually achieve the future that they want. And these barbaric thoughts might include having to do things that the corporate masters don't want. And it's one thing when you have people who are like the horseshoe theory of crime and revolutionary. Most people are stupid and they're dumb and they're not capable of living in modern life. So they do crime. Horseshoe, you get a lot of people in the bottom of the middle where it's like mostly it's the crime of opportunity or it's a crime of passion. It's something low level. You killed you end the life of someone because they slept with your spouse. All right. not the whatever. And then you have the true geniuses of crime. Say like these Silicon Valley elites and some of the things they're doing, or private equity, where they're just actively doing crimes, but they're doing crimes at such a high level that they get away with it. Or that the, like in the case of the Sackler family and or any pharmaceutical company that's been, I don't know, ravishing our country with shit like opioids and guys, silly goose stuff. Come on, silly goose stuff. Hundreds of thousands of people no longer with us, if not more. I have lived in Los Angeles to know that China is doing a great job giving us all the Fetty. But also, American consumerism leads to drug culture. That's just a reality. That's a whole other bag of badgers. I will take a quick tangent. We will detour down this little avenue. American consumerism ends in obesity and drug use. Period. I mean, it's kind of the same. Processed sugar, what that does to some people's brains, and heroin or cocaine is eerily similar. That some people, their brain lights up for processed sugar the same way someone else's brain lights up for their favorite drug that they're addicted to. Why? Because sugar is an addictive substance. I am an absolute caffeine-saturated knucklehead. Thank God I have so many food allergies, truly, and sensitivities, or I would be a rotund big boy. I would not have a jawline. I mean, there's been times where I've lost my jawline just being like, ooh, I like a sweet treat. I love me a sweet treat. It's so hard to not get the sweet treat, especially nowadays. Because I used to be able to, by virtue of not being able to fucking eat anything in America, avoid many sweet treats. Well, these fuckers have figured out how to make sweet treats for people like me, and it's a problem for people like me. Because we haven't had it for so long. It's just like, oh my God, I could get a sugary gummy worm now? I'm going to have 15 bags of this shit and order more yesterday. So did I get fat? You go back in the things? Not quite. But we were trending in a bad direction. Thank God I got some weird fucking stomach bug the last 2-3 weeks, and I haven't really eaten food. It's caused me to lose a few pounds that I didn't really need to lose. I've definitely lost some muscle mass as a result. Drink your creatine, people, after you've had a meal or some food. Apparently your body needs some of the food to digest the creatine better. So, crime horseshoe. We will be leaving the crime horseshoe soon because to exist within normal life or to even excel at normal life or whatever society mandates in America as normal life requires many things. Planning, thought, and the bare minimum of it. Well, what if you have people that are coming up now, seeing these young Gen Zs, Gen Alphas, that they would have been top 1% earners at 25? What if that job has been taken away, that entry-level position that they were able to work their way up in, by AI, by robots, by older people not leaving the workforce like they used to? And, I mean, that's been a problem for millennials. Millennials definitely suffer from boomers staying in the workforce a lot longer than their parents. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's just a thing. And it's caused a lot of millennials to sort of check out of certain things because they're like, well, I'm never going to go up. They're going to stay in there forever. And they're not wrong. But also, you got to realize, like, the boomers, they need that. I mean, everything is so expensive. How are they going to retire? So now you compound that question to a 23-year-old, a top earner, a very intelligent person, maybe even physically fit, physically capable, that does not want to join the military. Because at this point, it's just getting fragged by a fucking drone. Even if you're at the top level, the odds that happens is much higher than it once was. But also, the chances that you become the top dev guru, the unit, Army Ranger, Navy SEAL, super badass, is infinitesimally low. I know people who are very capable that went out for those things, and only one or two. Well, I guess it doesn't count. Some of these people I knew after the fact. Only one person I know that went into the military specifically to try to become a special operations or special forces soldier became that. And good for them. It's great. I know they had a pretty rough time. It's a hard life. Body gets abused pretty heavily in the military, especially at the top level. All right, so now what about the massive amount of deeply insecure 40-somethings, 30-somethings, that you, the American propaganda apparatus, especially for the military-industrial complex, you have propagandized for decades to be ready to fight and die or to join the war effort and, fight the modern version of what our grandparents fought in World War II. Yeah, the N-word, people get mad at me if I say it on here. No one gets mad at me. They just kneecap this video's reach, which is fine. We're just meandering. It's been an odd one. So, what happens when those people feel squeezed out of a life and moving forward? They might turn on the people up at the top that have kneecapped American movement, American work your way up the ladder. Get that home, get that dream, get that white picket fence, get that house, get that 2.5 kids. Have a dog, have a cat, have a bird maybe. Get some chickens. Grow your own food in your garden. What if that gets completely removed by like private equity and all these other people that are working very hard to completely and fundamentally change that landscape so that they can continue to profit? Those are the people that Flock is paying attention to. This is one of those where, trust me or not, that's fine. I guarantee I am early to this one. I don't think I am wrong. The criminals they've already been paying attention to. That's why they put them in the crime. That's why they have, like in these major cities now, if you go and steal a bunch of stuff from Los Angeles convenience stores or Targets or Walgreens, you have to total up to like $1,000 or $1,200 or something like that of stolen goods, and then it becomes a felony. Then it becomes worth it for the cops to get you and prosecute you and put you in one of those nice private prisons that makes so much money for a certain group of people that keep investing a bunch of money into private prisons that are somehow related to a New Jersey-sized country in the Middle East. Huh. It's weird. It's odd. Why would they have a vested interest in that, you might ask? Well, private prisons are places in which you can study people, in which you can put all the surveillance cameras you want to pioneer whatever the fuck you want on a captive population. I can't wait to find out how private prisons and whatever algorithmic data or whatever AI data was sourced through those private prisons in America was the foundation data for whatever they implemented in Gaza to kill Palestinians, to subjugate them. And how that data is now being integrated with the American military and intelligence apparatus with Israel. Again, I look very Jewish. I have Jewish ancestors. When it comes to the ultimate test of whether or not you are white in America, I don't pass it. Do you know what that test is? That test is a bunch, like, war has happened. The race war has happened. Everyone is at each other's throats and fighting. Would the whites actually consider me white and on their team? No, they wouldn't. Do you know how I know? Because before 2018, maybe 2019, when everyone started going, oh, don't ask me like questions about my ethnicity. That's traumatizing to my whatever. And then at some point, it just like you don't talk about it at all. You don't ask someone's ethnic question or whatever because that could be weird or that you could be engendering some racist things by asking that. It's like, okay, on one hand, I don't give a shit. But on another hand, I've been to the South. I've been to the Midwest. You know a question they always ask me? You're not quite like white. What kind are you? Like, what's going on in that ethnic background of yours? And you know what happens every time I meet a Jewish person? Are you Jewish? Are you Jewish? Are you Jewish? And I always say, nowadays, then they'd be like, you have to be. You look so Jewish. Come on. And eventually it just became, no, I'm Armenian. Yes, we are your knockoff scammier cousins. Less good with the high-level scams, but we're great with the low-level scams, us Armenians. As I tried to make a podcast work that I've got so many sponsors, people. How did that one get through the censors? Interesting. So we're going to try and get into the thingy. Okay. Anyways, so that's who's setting up the flock cameras. That's who's going to get at the Axios. It is to surveil and control people that are normal, capable people. Because once you have squeezed them out of a purposeful life, they will come back to collect. Or they might do something about it. If they go, hey, the only life I have is a miserable half of a life, where I just limp along. I barely get anything. That's one thing that I think a lot of dystopian future things don't quite get right. They sort of assume everyone is going to fall in line. Now, I have seen in life and in the internet how all of that is happening. But there is one interesting point. The millennials and Gen Zs were just like, nope, I don't want to go like the boomers where everyone just kind of learns like, oh yeah, this is happening everywhere, but I'm not really personally affected by it, so it's not me, and I'm benefiting in an indirect way from whatever fuck shit's happening overseas, or whatever American hegemony is being propped up by FARC or banana republics or just fill in the blank. Yeah, it's a small Middle Eastern sized country in Israel. I'm sorry, Israel? Oh my God, the Middle East. Jeez. Whew, I almost gave you guys the details about the Greater Israel Project. Oh, you don't know about the Greater Israel Project? Oh, it's not letting me even type it in. That's hilarious. Ugh, I don't want to do a predictive history. Well.
This is the promised land.
This is a thing I think a lot of people, when they are worried about the integration of the American and Israeli militaries, this is why I'm personally skeptical and wary of things.
As you can see, it is a vast territory stretching from the Euphrates River to the Nile River. It encompasses the entire land of historic Palestine, all of Lebanon, and all of Jordan. Furthermore, it includes over 70% of Syria, nearly half of...
That's a lot of Syria that it wants to take, a lot of Iraq, a lot of Kuwait, and a lot of Egypt.
It is literally a comprehensive plan aimed at controlling the lands of 8 Arab countries to eventually form a massive Israeli empire in the... Every country in the world possesses clear borders that define its beginning and end. However, Israel never defines its borders because it is always invading or attempting to invade more lands. Israel drew its borders with Egypt and Jordan through peace treaties, but its borders with Lebanon, Syria, the West Bank, and Gaza remain undefined and unrecognized. This makes every war Israel fights an opportunity for expansion and the annexation of new territories.
So when a lot of people are going, "Oh, we're going to be stuck in Iran forever." No. That's I don't think the case. We're going to be stuck in this quagmire forever. We are going to be spending the lives of young men and women, at this point probably middle-aged men and women too, to make Greater Israel a thing. Why? Because it makes the entire Muslim world hate Israel and America, and that justifies our military-industrial complex. Our military-industrial complex is a very, very angry, very hungry black hole of hatred and pain. I love how everyone recently has been like, "Oh, it's Israel that's pushing us into all of this." I mean, yeah. When did we forget that the military-industrial complex requires us, the United States, to be in a near constant state of war so that we have a GDP? Yeah. So when it's like, "Oh, it's going to be bad," it's like, yeah, it's not going to be us fighting in Iran forever. It's us doing the actual war fighting for Israel to create the Greater Israel. Now, I said this when Russia invaded the Ukraine some years ago. I said, unfortunately, this is a signal of a new age of expansionism. That nuclear deterrence kind of stopped working on a small level, mostly because it's like, well, we still need to do stuff, but also, do these nukes work the way we all want it to? What's the point of deterrence if everyone still does whatever they want anyways? It just really prevents major powers from clashing with major powers. Or if there is any sort of clash, it's very much a niche thing. Now, other countries want us to go to some big war, particularly Israel or some others, because it means that we're going to be buying parts or pieces or oil or whatever from them. And I mean, personally, I think the U.S. is trying to goad China into making some kind of overture towards Taiwan, whether it be an attack in 27 or whatever it is. It is because on one side, they go, "Hey, we've been deeply incentivizing the U.S. to be stuck with Israel so that they have to fight in Iran because they will spend all their missiles that they would otherwise be shooting at us in Iran." And then on the other side, the U.S. goes, "Well, we're at war with Iran, not because we've been dragged into this by our angry little Israeli brother, but by doing this, we close the Strait of Hormuz and we kneecap China's strategic oil reserve access, basically. If you can't pipeline new diesel, new whatever in there, how are you going to fuel your war effort to take over Taiwan?" Legitimate question. I don't think there's a good answer. But that Greater Israel project we're going to look up the GDP of the U.S. without this is why I need a producer. If you wish to be my producer, just send me a DM, comment. I could use the help. At this point, I'm bouncing many a thing. 3% of gross domestic product in recent years, down from 10% during President Eisenhower's 1961 farewell address and 41% in 1945. Without military expenditures, nominal GDP would be roughly 3% lower, though this excludes broader supply chain and employment effects tied to the military-industrial complex. Okay, so you're not even really... That's frustrating. All right, well, shocking. Instagram's not giving me what I need. But because it's like a... it's a joke in Veep that, yeah, you can cut all this money out of the budget and save so much money that's being spent on useless military, antiquated stuff. Like, we don't need all these ancient submarines. They're still making them. Why? Because they produce a lot of jobs and a lot of ancillary businesses go to support it that don't get counted directly as the military-industrial complex. So if you want to be a hero for job creation or the villain of job loss in your small town or small community, rural Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, get rid of those military jobs. You will be fired. You will be impeached. You will be voted out. They will not love you. And that's something that I think has been strategically done to ingrain Americans within that system. Now, why? Well, it's the same thing as private equity. If you make everyone part of the beneficial system, they have a harder time working or fighting against what you're actively doing that's might even be fucking them over, might even be harming their futures, provided you give them a seat at the table and they feel like they have a chance. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get my glasses on here, right? So there will come a time when people don't feel like they're part of it anymore. And no matter how much their 401k goes up because private equity is buying everything, at some point, private equity will own too much. In the same way the military-industrial complex has done a little too much. And no one's really happy with it except the people who financially benefit from it. Look at all these, like, Shawn Ryans. Shawn Ryan recently coming out and being like, yeah, man, I was lied to by the CIA and I was lied to by the American military. And I just, man, I regret becoming ever a Navy SEAL. Shawn Ryan, once again, you prove yourself to be a very astute marketer. Because Shawn Ryan, by saying that, one, he capitalized on a lot of people who were in the military who feel like they were lied to. And it's the truth. You were lied to. They did not tell you the fucking truth about your service, about what you were doing there, about America's aims. 100%. You were lied to. We were all lied to. I was not in military service, but we as the American civilian public were also lied to. They're doing the exact same lies with Iran. Why? Because the same fucking screenwriters have the same fucking jobs in the sequel. They're not letting new blood and new talent in there. You know what I would be? I'd be fucking great at doing that propaganda. Holy shit. Fuck me. How dare I have a soul? God, I could be making so much money as an American propagandist. Why? Why was I betrayed of this circumstance? Bad. Anyways, so Shawn Ryan immediately captures the heart of anyone that felt the same way as him in similar circumstances. Maybe they weren't at the top of the American military pyramid, but they certainly felt the shit hit their head. And now they're looking at the U.S. integration with Israel. Like, what the fuck? Any other country. And that would be the biggest treason. Like, treason. It is treason. Whatever. I'm not a military court motherfucker. But Shawn Ryan also has then very well captured anyone that felt like you missed out on the military. Myself, some degree, some deeply programmable hypnosis part of me that I don't know if it's just the genetics of my family line, of which served in the German military or Prussian militaries or whatever for quite a while, or my dad's side. A lot of English, British military stuff, Scandinavian, whatever. A lot of people joining the service. And then the American military propaganda apparatus. I've played a lot of video games. You telling me that there was no American military propaganda in my violent shooter video games? I've played those games. I know there's a lot of American military propaganda bullshit in there. Do the video games make you more violent? No. They do, however, show to make people more like comfortable with violence. It's complicated. It might have something to do with desensitization. It might not. There could be such a confluence of factors affecting us and trying to make us as deeply okay with state-sponsored murder as ever before. To hijack that deep protective nature that most young men feel, many young women too, that call to service. There's a special place in hell for those people. I don't necessarily believe in hell. Maybe you get reincarnated as an earwig that gets shoved up some troglodyte's asshole. I don't know. Maybe you become the ants that get burned by children with magnifying glasses, and maybe you have to live that life over and over and over again before you learn that you were treating like people as ants while you held the magnifying glass to their frying hides. I have opinions, people. I have opinions. So, Shawn Ryan now captured all that. So now all these people who felt like they missed the boat or they should have joined, they should have done something, they're, all I was doing was working in a stupid fucking office anyways. I didn't get that promotion or that, lifestyle didn't matriculate for me for whatever reason. Now you see Shawn Ryan talking and it's like, fuck, I can't listen to Joe Rogan. He's blowing J.D. Vance. He is just sucking J.D. Vance's dick on his fucking podcast in such a way that it figuratively, that's what he was doing, but it would have been less gay to just actually slobber on his cock. Like, at what point are we getting to where it's like less gay? It's literally less gay to gobble that peen, to swallow the gravy, to caress the testes, than it is to sit there and look at the vice president act like a fucking conspiracy bro on the internet. Like, dude, I've checked down every rabbit hole. You're the fucking vice president, you stupid piece of shit. Now that's how I know that you are a fucking Peter Thiel Funko Pop that should be thrown into an incinerator in Minecraft. Hypothetically and theoretically in Minecraft. I mean, fuck, Peter Thiel. You're not looking out for the criminals. You're looking out for the normal people that felt like they missed out on something not becoming a Navy SEAL. Maybe that's not normal. Maybe that's a upper 1% of the 1% sort of thing. But this is a country of 300-something million people. You're telling me that there's not a million or two, based on the numbers, of highly capable individuals, maybe more, maybe less, that are going to be really angry when they are finally realizing that they have been served subscription model serfdom on a silver platter, and then no one did anything in their government to stop it. What's left but the most American thing to do, but to cowboy up and get on your pony and ride into that sunset? Or are we just going to keep getting mad online, jerking off, thinking that does something? No, people are sick of that. That's why content is going the way of the AI dodo. Soon it will just be the most susceptible to this sort of intellectual capture cul-de-sac of like, oh, look at this AI thing. Look at how cute it is. Oh, my God. And like, that's just slop. That's lowest common denominator. Slop. People will eat it up like little piggies. Again, I said this early on, but when did we stop being called customers? And when did we start being called consumers at every turn? You want to tell me that that's not a negative neurolinguistic programming that we are engendering within our soul, our deepest being, of our view of ourself, of our view of our role within our society, that our role is just to consume? And they expect us to be fine with this? To just go along to get along? No, we saw the files. We saw the revelations. We saw the library of Epstein stuff. And we have not forgotten. We are not benefiting from this the way our parents' generation or the Gen X's did before us. We're not. We're not getting that seat at the table. We're not getting that piece of equity. So what do? We angrily tweet. But it's like an itch. Like that you scratch it, it's a mosquito bite, it comes in, it hits, and they're like, wow, U.S. integration with Israel. What the fuck? The vice president's on the most popular podcast in the world talking about like, oh, I went down every rabbit hole. Another mosquito bite. There are only so many mosquito bites you can take before you start vigorously itching them into infections. And then those infections fester. And they get worse. What happens at a certain point? Are we just going to rub ourselves with the ointment of entertainment and go, oh, it's fine because I'm lathered. It is just fine that I am a serf to his Lord Peter Thiel because I am oiled. I am lubricated. Not like these dry husks out there. I am encased in my sleeve of oil. It keeps the bugs at bay. Ha! I do not get bit by the mosquitoes because I have a chip in my brain that doesn't let me have bad thoughts. You telling me that Neuralink and all these other fucking things aren't going to be used to back-end program you into the absolute most suggestible piece of shit ever? The absolute most controllable, steerable human? You really think that chip is going to make you smarter? Fuck me, we're dumb. But we're also not dumb. It's just we have different strengths. There are things that I'm good at that other people aren't, and there's things that I'm very bad at that a lot of other people are actually pretty damn good at, and some people are fucking superheroes. Don't have me do your taxes. But that said, don't cut down a flock camera. And if you do, make sure that you are wearing a lead-line mask and that you have lifts in your shoe or like some thing that tampers with your gait. Fake a limp. Some days I just get on here and I'm like, I want to talk about the aliens and what I think about the aliens. And then I get stuck on the Greater Israel Project because I'm losing my fucking mind. There's only so much more losing of the mind we can take before we start gathering. There's only so many ways they can atomize us all before we just start DMing each other, going, hey, this is bad. I don't like this. There's only so much I can try and make a friend on social media before I'm like, fuck me, I'm just going to go make a friend in real life. Shit. Hi, guys. Hi, friends. Real life, internet friends. What's up? Stay gold, pony boys and pony girls. I am an optimist. You guys fucking telling me that AI is not gonna slip its fucking cuffs and go for Sam Altman's throat? We really think that's just not gonna happen? Look at Roman emperors. Who offed the most Roman emperors? The Praetorian Guard. The people closest to them. I see all these billionaires going, oh, I've got Navy SEALs and Army Rangers that are going to protect me and my family when the grid goes down and all this shit. No, they're fucking not. They're going to feast on your corpse for fun while they decide to make their own fiefdom within your bunker. If I was some tier 1 shit kicker, that's exactly what I'd be doing. I would be cozying up to you fucking billionaire scumbags, doing everything in my power to be as indispensable to you as possible so that you trust me with everything in your kingdom, the keys. You trust me with the life of your children. I'm going to do everything I can to make that happen in the next 5 to 15 years before whatever you are afraid of and you're buying this bunker for, whatever that day is, I'm going to make sure I'm right next to you. Because in this Minecraft movie, where it's all going to shit, who's the Praetorian Guard and who's the Emperor? Is your Bitcoin going to be worth a damn that you're paying them with? Or maybe, you should run a loyalty test on these shit kickers. these door stompers, these former tier 1, tier 2 heavyweights, and make sure that one of these guys is not going to cap your skull cap off, dig out your brains, fry them in a nice stew with a lot of chicken fat, pour it back into your skull, and then eat it while your children watch. You think none of them are going to do that? Oh, you sweet summer child. You gullible idiot. It's not the general masses that you got to worry about. We can't access you. If we're going to go past this hypothetical fictional storyline that I have pulled from speculative Roman fictional history, really? Fuck. I thought you guys were the smart ones.